Claude finally did something that we all wanted to do. It can run tasks on the cloud. Anything that you want to be done on a regular basis in Claude can now happen automatically using the new feature called routines. And if you can look at it, I already have some routines built. Just to show you an example, this is a routine that I just built, which technically goes ahead into the project that I have here with all the different tasks and brings out the top 3 tasks that I need to pay attention to. This will run every day morning, and now I just need to literally look at this and start working on those things rather than spending my time on checking the project board and looking at priorities. And this is just a simple example of it. I'm going to teach you how to set up your first routine, what are the configuration options that are available, and how you can make the full use of it. Let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is you need to come to Claude, and on the left hand side in Claude code on the web, you will see routines. Now, very simply, once you come to routines, you will have this option available where you need to click on the right hand side and click on new routine. Here, technically, we are going to get started by building a first routine. Now, I'm going to keep this one simple. I'm going to say very simply Gmail unread, and I'm going to describe this routine pretty simply as read all my unread emails in Gmail and give me a one-line summary of the most important emails that I need to pay attention to. If there is anything that I need to read, let's say a newsletter that has come up, create a summary of that also and just present that. Now, once you describe what you want your routine to do, the next step is technically to select a model. You can select Haiku for some things like reading and unread emails, or even something Opus if you are looking for more complex tasks. Right now, we're going to stick to Haiku. And then you have an option to select a repository here. This only makes sense if you're doing something related to code, and I will show you that also as an option in a couple of minutes. But other than that, I'm going to come here, select a schedule. You can select the time. It can be weekdays, weekly, or even daily, or you want to run it every hour. I don't know which task will need that, but again, I think daily at 9 a.m. is good fun. These are connectors that are already part of your Claude. So I already have Canva, Excalibur, Gmail, and other tools connected, and I'm giving it access to this particular routine. Now, one thing to remember, as also Claude mentions, everything can be accessed. So if you're given it access to a connector, it will not ask for permission while running the routine, because then it technically defeats the purpose, right? It is supposed to run everything without asking you for any input. With that, we are good, and I'm just going to press and click on create, and you have your first routine already built. Now, I'm going to click on run now, and as soon as you click run now for a manual run, you can see it comes here and you can see the run happening right in front of you. It's going to go ahead and look at the tool and get the unread emails and create a summary of it. Now, this is a very simple way to just get started, and it will always run automatically now at every day for 9 a.m. You will get all of these updates in your Claude. And you can see we have got some again, updates where my API key hasn't been used, so it's inactive. There is some other information, and there is also a newsletter that I need to read. Pretty cool, and I can ask it to send me an email or create a draft or something like that, whatever you might want. But if I bring you back to routines, and again, you can see this beautiful thunder icon now. There is also other ways that I can trigger this. Instead of clicking on run now, I can come here and add another trigger, which simply means that instead of just running it every day, I also have the option to run it via an API. When I say running it via an API, that means that technically I can create like an app if I have a personal app for myself, which can trigger this and give me a session link. Let me show you what this happens. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to copy this URL, and then I'm going to generate a token, which will not be visible to you guys. And I'm going to copy this. Now with this, I'm technically going to now, and I'm going to take this curl request, and now I'm going to go to Claude and say, write a single page application to trigger the following morning routine. And I'm going to put this and give it also another thing. I will add the key in the front end. And now it will technically can use this API to create a single page application that I can trigger. It means that I can trigger something from a UI perspective. So that means I can have an application for myself that I can trigger whenever I need. So might be when I'm doing like monthly finances, but I might not have a specific day when I'm doing these monthly finances. So again, with that, I have this, and again, it took a couple of options just to tell it to build a proper application. But now we have something like this, which technically is there that I input the token that I got from the trigger itself, and then I pasted that here and clicked on fire routine. and now we got an actual session that is automatically triggered in Claude, so that I can actually go ahead and see this. So you can see this is a live session which was automatically triggered, and it ran and brought those details. Now that's the power of Claude. So that means you can have multiple different automations in the same screen, and you can trigger them as you need and come to the session automatically from there. Think about a team dashboard where you have multiple options, and people can come here and fire a routine depending on what they are trying to do and get directly into the session itself, which is a great way because this does add a lot of power for a ton of use cases. Then the last option that we have as a trigger is to technically when you want to do something based on code. So just to show you, I have a routine here which is a daily AI lesson plan. So I'm trying to build videos on every day to build AI content. So I have a lesson plan which technically connects to my repository, which has like the option here in my repository. I have an agent called Jarvis, which is able to look at latest topics and build lesson plans in the way that I like. I can add a trigger here, which is called a GitHub event. Now, I'm not going to cover this in detail, but very simply, like again, this is something that you can trigger based on anything that happens in your GitHub repo. So let's say if you have added a new feature and you want to create marketing material for it, this would be a great place. So every time that something is published, you can say, okay, every time something new gets published, create marketing documentation automatically, which is a cool way to get rid of, like, doing all the marketing things that engineers and a lot of other people don't really have fun, but have to do it nonetheless. Okay, so with that, you have all the triggers that you need, and you can also update them as you need. So let's say I come to my routines. I need to see, okay, Akshat, how many routines are running on an every day? So you can see I have in a single day, everything is running on 9 a.m. and that is by design. But let's say I want to switch off some routine. So I can come here, let's say briefing, and I can just deactivate it and it will get paused. Then I come to calendar and you can see that routine is gone away. I can also come to, let's say, the lesson plan routine, change this update from daily to weekdays or weekly, save it, update it, and you will see the calendar is now updated based on the same process. So it will run every Monday, and you will have on Monday multiple routines running at the same time. So this is a good way to see all the routines that are running. And just to tell you, this does cost extra. So when I say extra, like you can see already that we have a daily, you can only have 5 routines which are part of your plan. So if you're on the pro plan, you will technically have 5 routines. I don't know what would be the limits for higher plans, but for pro plan, it's 5 routines. And you can see it resets in 24 hours. I have already triggered 1 routine automatically. So I just have 4 more routine runs that can automatically trigger. But if I'm running something manually, that is okay. That at least right now was not counted towards my. Now you can modify routines as you need and change the triggers, but also remember that you only get 5 runs every day. So 5 routines can be run automatically every day. In case you want to use more, you will technically cost from the extra usage plan that you have. One last thing that I do have to mention is that you can also trigger routines from your Claude terminal. So you can just write schedule in the terminal and ask it what you want as the routine. It will ask you some questions, and then you can give that, and then it will give you a final routine created automatically. The lesson plan routine that I created here is actually automatically then available on the web. So whatever you do on your terminal is again available on the web, which is a pretty cool thing that everything comes together and you don't have to manage things in 2 different places. Just a quick recap, you can trigger routines from 3 places. So you can schedule them, you can use an API call as we did in the front end, or use GitHub to trigger it. And then the best part, it runs everywhere on the web, so you don't have to worry about managing technically anything. And my favorite thing is that your routines can actually power a lot of things. And I would suggest you guys to go ahead and really think about this. You can have the reading list, you can have like every day your emails are completely cleaned. Every morning, imagine waking up to an inbox which is highly organized is great. And then also like, again, planning trips, planning budgets, or anything that you can think of is something that you can do. And also kind of think about these kind of routines can be built for other businesses which probably have daily tasks that need to be done or weekly tasks that need to be done. And Claude Routines can technically kill all the tools like N10 or OpenClaw and kind of give a much more safe environment to get things done. And Claude is turning up the heat on every other tool. So if you want to keep learning about Claude and how to use routines and every other cool feature that comes in, hit the subscribe button and like the video. It helps me out a lot. Till then, I'm Akshat and I would love to see you in the next one.